5 councillors of state are appointed by the monarch to stand in for him when he is ill or temporarily out of the country. Fears have surfaced that a procedural tradition could land Prince Andrew a leading role in the country while leaving Princess Anne out in the cold. In Britain, a monarch appoints 5 councillors of state to stand in when they are not well or abroad. ITV's political editor Robert Peston has said councillors of state include the monarch's spouse as well as the top 4 royals in line to the throne under arrangements also in place during Queen Elizabeth II's reign. Currently, these include the Duke of York and his daughter Princess Beatrice, according to Mr. Peston. He tweeted, "The monarch appoints 5 councillors of state to stand in for him when he is unwell or out of the UK. They are his spouse plus the top 4 in succession to the crown who are aged 21 or over." He continued, "These include Prince Andrew and his daughter Princess Beatrice, only just appointed, but not Princess Anne, who is probably the most widely respected of the royal family." Many would say this is nuts, especially since the 2013 Succession to the Crown Act ended primogeniture, though only for those born after 2011. So if King Charles were incapacitated, Andrew would step in, not Anne. Do you think most British people would approve? Buckingham Palace has been approached for comment. Mr. Peston's tweet has prompted fears Andrew could continue in a role which some would prefer Anne occupied. Twitter user Jackdaw said people would not stand for Andrew having a role, calling for William, Harry, Anne, and Prince Edward, the Earl of Wessex, to be councillors of state under King Charles III. Fellow Twitter user Moria31 said they did not think people would approve of Andrew occupying the role. A third Twitter user Superbird5000 described Princess Anne's not being a councillor of state as bonkers. Fellow Twitter user Derek Sherritt wrote, "Princess Anne is clearly a person of great honesty and trust. It would be correct for her as the Queen's eldest daughter to lead. By law, councillors of state are the wife or husband of the monarch, if they are married, and the 4 people who are next in line to the throne. Under the Regency Act 1937, councillors of state are authorized to carry out most of the official duties of the monarch, which include attending Privy Council meetings, signing routine documents and receiving the credentials of new ambassadors to the United Kingdom. There are a number of core constitutional functions which are not delegated, including dissolving Parliament and appointing a Prime Minister. Queen Elizabeth II's councillors of state were King Charles III, who was then Prince of Wales, Prince William, Prince Harry and the Duke of York. Under the 1937 Act, a councillor of state must live in the UK and be at least 21. This created an issue in the 1940s for then Princess Elizabeth, as heiress presumptive, could become monarch aged 18 but could not be a councillor of state. When her father King George VI raised the matter with Prime Minister Winston Churchill, the Regency Act 1943 was enacted to allow for an exception for the heir-heiress to the throne. Princess Elizabeth acted as a councillor of state for the first time in 1944 when her father visited battlefields in Italy. As then heir to the throne, Prince Charles became a councillor of state when he turned 18 in November 1966. He acted as a councillor for the first time in 1967 when his mother was in Canada. Designating additional councillors of state requires legislation, according to the House of Commons Library. The Regency Act 1953 allowed Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, to resume the role after she was removed on the death of King George VI in February 1952.